So now, did you actually know or realize that we get exposed to different types of radiation in our environment? And even from the food we eat, we actually can get exposed to radiation. So I guess it's about the levels of radiation that we get exposed to. And this is why at the 56th Trade Fair of 2022, we're here to talk to the Radiation Protection Authority so that they can educate us on issues to do with radiation and how they can protect you and I from this kind of exposure. And of course, how they will speak to the 2020 theme.
First of all, I would like to mention that we are a regulator, among many other regulators under Ministry of Technology and Science, whose mandate is to regulate the use of ionizing radiation in the country. Our main focus really is to ensure that we protect the public, the workers, and even the environment where these radioactive materials or radiation-emitting devices are being used. You may have interest to know that as an authority, we have a lot of work in the country. In the agriculture sector, these materials are being used. We have to ensure they comply. In the industry, in the health sector, for example, if you go to cancer disease hospital or nuclear medicine, or even in various private hospitals, they are using various modalities of imaging or radiation sciences to try and help our patients. At the end of the day, they need to use them peacefully. And that's where we come in as an authority to ensure that they are protected. Looking at this year's theme, promoting value addition for sustainable development, really it suits very well with our mandate. Because obviously for the workers in the environment or in the health sector industry to work safely, they need protection. And as an authority, we have to enforce to ensure that they are safe. And you know, as usual, once the workers are safe and even the patients are well taken care of and their radiation is applied safely, then we are assured of sustainable growth. And once people are healthy, there will be development. So in this case also, apart from safety, we are talking of security. There are many materials coming in the country. Sometimes Zambia is used as a transit country. And these nuclear materials or radioactive materials need to be transported safely. And so as an authority, we are working, coordinating with the RATSA. We are coordinating at the border points with Zambia Revenue Authority, even training, building capacity to these officers to help us as frontline officers. If they detect anything which is strange, which is radioactive related, they have to inform the authority. So you can see that actually this year for us is very, very exciting in terms of development. I would like also to mention that our authority has grown. It used just to be in Lusaka, but we are now decentralizing in terms of government policy so that we could spread our wings across our borders. And right now we are existing at Kasumbalesa. We have an office in Nakonde. We have also an office in Chirundu. And we envisage soon, next year, God willingly, for us to open an office at Kazungula. So all these mechanisms we are putting in place is to protect society from undue effect of ionizing radiation.
We are going to demonstrate about radiation detection. So as we know, radiation is everywhere in the environment. We have radiation in soil, in water, and also in the rocks, and also in food. We have also sources of radiation which are man-made. What we have here is a man-made radioactive source, and as you all know that we cannot detect radiation using our 5 senses. We need to detect it using some gadgets, and these are some of the gadgets which we have as RPA, which help us to do the detection of radiation. So we have an artificial radioactive source here, and I have a radiation detector. So I'll demonstrate how it works. So if there's a source and I have a detector, as I'm standing a bit from the source, it is not picking the energy or the radiation being emitted by the source, but as I move closer to the source, I think you can get the alarm. It means the detector is now detecting the energy, that is the radiation which is coming from the source. So we can only know that there is radiation in our vicinity with radiation detector. Our 5 senses cannot help us to do that. We also, these small gadgets are used for primary detection, but we also have these big gadgets. Here we have a radiation survey meter. It has 3 probes, and we have the survey meter itself where we get the readings. Now we have 3 types of radiation, that is alpha, beta, and gamma. And alpha and beta are particles, and they play a big role when it comes to radiation contamination. So these probes, they are able to help us to detect radiation contamination from alpha or beta particles. So we also have an additional probe that help us to detect the gamma radiation. All these probes are connected to the survey meter where we get the reading using this probe. So lastly, we have what we call radiation dosimeters, or basically they are commonly known as radiation badges. These are what we give to our radiation workers for us to be able to monitor the accumulative radiation that they get exposed to during their day-to-day course of work. So we have a requirement in our law that all the workers who are working or who are using ionizing radiation should wear these badges, and there is a requirement that after 2 months they should bring the badges to the authority for reading. We have a machine in which we put these badges, and we are able to tell the amount of radiation exposure an individual has been exposed to during a period of 2 months.
Following the authority's mandate to provide protection from users of ionizing radiation and devices that are also capable of producing radiation in designated places, we've come to understand that these sources of radiation are capable of being moved from one point to the other. These points can either be from within the country, district to district, or from one country to the other. Therefore, we also add on to our functions by ensuring that there's protection and providing safety and security during the transportation and shipment of these materials from one place to the other. So we do this through the incorporation and collaboration of our international bodies such as the IAEA, through the promotion and regulation of safe transport of radioactive materials, as well as the World Trade Organization under the transportation of dangerous goods. So following the Radiation Protection Authority's Strategic Plan 2018 to 2018, the authority has resorted to expanding presence in border regions and places so that protection can be decentralized across the country. And so the authority aimed at opening border regions in 3 provinces so far at the moment. There is one in Akonde, which is already functioning, one in Kasumbalesa, and one in Chirundu. The authority has also designated inspectors as well as detective instruments so that we can achieve safety and security in those places. Part of some of the materials that we monitor there are materials that are byproducts of mining activities such as cobalt, concentrates, other mineral ores, food samples that are coming through into the country, as well as second-hand or new vehicles that are also being imported into the country. As the theme states, we're rest assured that we're adding value for sustainable growth through providing protection for the members of the public and the environment in those border regions and places, by also ensuring that the movement of these transport goods is adhered to by providing proper mechanisms such as designs mechanisms, also placarding, marking and labeling of these shipments. Thank you.